All right, people. Talking about complements, direct and indirect objects, and objective complements. So a complement is a word that completes the meaning of a verb. It looks like the word complete, so that's why we call it complements. It's not a compliment like, you look great today. That's a different kind of compliment, but this is a word that completes. One thing that we have to remember is prepositional phrases are never part of the complement, so that's makes it a little easier once you can identify them and eliminate them. So some sentences, some verbs just require no complement at all. No noun or pronoun is needed to complete the sentence. For example, I sneezed. There's no that's noun that's needed to complete that, that stops and it's over. But a verb like I hit needs some noun to complete it. I hit a ball. I hit my car. You know, there's some noun that is needed to complete that. So we have to. That's basically the complement. So here's an incomplete thought. The shortstop caught. Well, shortstop caught a cold, caught the ball. Logically, you would say the ball, but in this case, the ball completes that thought. An incomplete sentence. They sent what? Well, they sent an invitation. They sent the people away or whatever. So they sent an invitation. So the first type of complement that we're going to focus on is a direct object. Direct object is a noun or pronoun that tells who or what receives the action or shows the result of an action. That's a very confusing definition, so we're just going to go with it answers who or what after a verb. So our first step is to find the verb. Second step is to ask who or what after the verb. Still keeping in mind that we can find subjects of the sentence too that will sometimes help. All right, so let's take a look. Drought destroyed whatever we planted. So we have our first step is to find the verb. Just for kicks, let's find out who or what is doing the action. In this case, it's the drought is doing the action. The drought's destroying. That's our subject. Who or what did the drought destroy? Whatever we planted. In this case, whatever. The journalist interviewed astronauts before their flight. Remembering that prepositional phrases are never part of the complement, we can eliminate before and after their flight. So we're left to interview astronauts, which is way easier. Verb is interviewed. Who did the interviewing? Journalists. Who or what did they interview? Who or what after the verb? Astronauts. Direct object. Do toads cause warts? Oh my gosh. A question, an interrogative sentence. Let's change that into a declarative sentence just to make it easier on us. Toads do cause warts, which is a myth, I'm told. All right, so we have looking for our verb. Don't forget the helper in there, do cause. Who or what does cause? Toads. It's our subject. What do toads cause? Who or what after the verb? They cause warts, direct object. And last but not least, the dog chased Eli and me through the park. Remembering the prepositional phrases are never part of the complement. Through the park can be eliminated for the time being. Definitely want to remember that it's there eventually, but anyway, chased is our verb. Who did the chasing? The dog is our subject. Who or what did the dog chase? We have a compound direct object here. Is both Eli and me, and that's our direct object. All right, so exercise 1 is just going to ask you to find the verb and the direct object. So you should have goals for your job. For your job, get it out of there. You should have goals. Our verb is should have. Who or what should I have? Goals, direct object, piece of cake. Number 1, I'll do with you. Dad and Mom planted grasses along. Again, remembering that prepositional phrases are never part of the we can get rid of along the back for now. Plant grasses, way easier. Verb. Who did plan to find the subject? But I always like to leave the sentence. Who or what did mom and dad? Did mom and dad plant the grasses? It's as easy as that. All right. The second type of complement is called an indirect object. A noun or pronoun that shows to whom or to what or for whom or for what the action is done. A sentence does not always have an indirect object if it has a direct object. So if it has a direct object, like in this one, it doesn't need an indirect object necessarily. But if it has an indirect object, like these sentences will, it would also have a direct object always. That may not make sense, but you'll see it in a second. So, first step, find the verb or verb phrase. Second step, repeat the process of finding the direct object. So, find direct object. Third step, ask to, who, or what, or for, who, or what action is done. So let's check this out. An animal trainer fed the bears fish. We have our verb is fed. Who did the feeding? Animal trainer. So that's our subject. Who or what did the animal trainers feed? Well, they fed the bears, but really they fed fish, right? So that actually is our direct object. To who or to what or for who or for what was the action done? Well, they fed the bears fish. Indirect object. This is what I have to mention. Indirect objects, that's IDO, can be rewritten as prepositional phrases. So that would sound something like this. The animal trainer fed fish to the bears. Right? Rewriting that as a sentence with a prepositional phrase instead of an indirect objects. All right, let's take a look. Their artistic skills won them awards. One's our verb. What did the winning? It's a skill. Who or what did their skill win? Won awards. That's our direct object. For who or for what? Is the action done? Them. That's our indirect object. Why did Julia buy her pet terrier a new rhinestone collar? Oh my gosh, let's rewrite that as a declarative sentence. Julia did buy her pet terrier a rhinestone collar Why? I just put it in parentheses because it needs to be there, but it doesn't really make sense. All right, so Julia is our subject. She did buy. It's our verb. What does she buy? Rhinestone collar. That's our direct object. For who or for what does she buy? Pet terrier. That's our indirect object. Piece of cake. And then this last sentence, the architect showed mom and dad the plans for the new room. For the new room, prepositional phrase, ignore it for now. Showed is our verb. Architect is the subject. They're doing showing. Or what are they showing? They're showing plans. That's plans. That's our direct. For whom or for what is the action being done? Done. Mom and dad are our indirect object. So you're going to do exercise 2. On exercise 2 is going to ask you to find the verb, the indirect, and the object, and then the indirect object. Amy Tan showed the readers her world. Here's her world. Amy Tan's our subject. What does she do? She shows. What does she show? She shows her world. To who or to readers. Indirect object. Tan gives her audience stories that are based on her family. That are based as a dependent clause. We can ignore it. It's not the main clause of the sentence. We're just looking for direct objects. This has a subject and verb, but it does direct or indirect objects, so we're not worried concerned about it. So number 1, so like this. Our verb is gives. Direct object. What does she give? Does she give stories? To who or to what? Does she give the stories? To her audience. So we have gives our verb, subject, with stories, that's our direct object. To who or to what? It's indirect object. On a test, I would label these parts of the sentence as much as possible. All right. But we've not done our third type of complement. Is complement. This is where it gets a little weird. Have noun, pronoun, or adjective. It does names your direct object. Direct object. Noun, pronoun, or adjective. It gives a little more meaning to your object. Consider and make usually the main ones, but anything that could be considered are anything that's consider and make, like the point, call, choose, elect, keep, name, cut, paint, and we could all be objective complements. Let's take a look. The members of elected Beth secretary. Verb is elected. Members did the electing. To who or to what? Sorry, who or what did they elect? They elected Beth. She's our direct object. What did they elect her? Secretary. That's our adjective complement. So, process in this one. Find the verb as usual. Second one, find direct object. And then 3, see how direct object is being described. They consider all the prize money theirs. Consider is our verb. Who considered it? They did. It's our subject. What did they consider? Prize money. That's our direct object. What do they consider the prize money? Theirs. The objective complement is going to come very close to the direct object. Very near in the structure of the sentence to the direct object. Years of hard work, prepositional phrase. We can get rid of it. Had made her successful. Had made is our verb phrase. What made her is our years is our subject. What did the years make her? Made her, direct object. What did they make her? Successful, objective complement. All right, so let's look at the example. Aita named her brother the sales manager. Verb is named. Aita is our subject. What did Aita name? Her brother. What did it name her? Name him, sales manager. And that's our objective complement. Or just manager. All right, let's take a look at number 1. The manufacturers called their product the greatest invention since the toaster. Since the toaster, prepositional phrase. All right. Manufacturers called. So our verb is called. Manufacturers did the action. What do they call? Product. Direct object. What do they call their product? Greatest invention. Objective complement. So 1 is going to look like this. Verb. Called. Direct object is product. Objective complement is invention. And it's as easy as that, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, or however you identify. So, hopefully that helps. This is linked on the Homer site so you can get that done. Talk to you later.